Hey, but the cat did tell us something about Washington, L.A., Detroit. Something about some stuff in somewhere, man. But we had to charm him to death to get it out of him.
Permanently. 3 the hard way. 3 cities and 3 of us.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Erik and Brittany.
Hi.
Sure are.
Hello.
Hi.
Today, we watched, on this very rainy afternoon, 3 the Hard Way from 1974. Erik, this was your pick.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you pick this movie?
I saw a trailer for this a little while ago, and I thought it looked fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have issues with movies from the 70s because they have pacing issues. But
typically,
the trailer I saw for this made it look like it had a lot of promise. And it's also part of the Blaxploitation genre, which we don't have a lot of experience with podcast or in general. We watched Death Force a little while ago, which was extremely susceptible to the...
very suspect.
Very suspect. It was really susceptible to the 1970s pacing problem. That movie was like 4 hours long. And aside from that, like my only other experience, if you could even call it a Blaxploitation movie, is Live and Let Die, the James Bond Blaxploitation movie. So, I mean, that's about as far into the genre I get. So I was kind of interested to see where this goes. And this is supposed to be one of the hallmarks of the genre, with 3 of the bigger Blaxploitation actors featured in it, including Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, and Jim Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was really interested to see like what's the best of the genre, like what's really representative of how awesome this can get.
Cool. Cool. All right. What's it about?
Well, this is the other reason I picked it, because the plot is fucking great. There's a group of white supremacists that are formulating a poison that specifically targets African Americans, and they're going to release it in the water supplies of Detroit, L.A., and Washington. One of the guys that they're testing it on escapes from their testing facility and meets up with his friend, played by Jim Brown, Jimmy. And Jimmy kind of gets part of the plot. Like he hears some of the plot from his friend. His name is House. House gives him some information, but he can't quite clearly get it out to him before he's killed. And Jim teams up with his friends Jagger, played by Fred Williamson, and Mister Keyes. It's his first name, Mister.
Hell yeah.
Played by Jim Kelly, to sort of unravel the plot after his girlfriend is kidnapped by these white supremacists.
All right.
Pretty succinct.
That was really good.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
If I can just give a success right off the top, I fucking love the plot of this movie.
Okay.
Like, the bad guys are so bad guyish. I am so ready to just be behind these 3 awesome dudes.
They're so like comically villainous.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they were Nazis.
They were straight up
Yeah.
Nazis, yeah. And I feel like that's just, I can always get behind a Nazi bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just there's not going to be like, if we're going to go for something that's as simple as a movie like this,
yes.
we're not going to have like depth of character. We're not going to have like a sympathetic villain.
No.
Make him a Nazi.
Yeah. Name him Monroe Feather and make him a neo-Nazi.
I mean, and I mean, he was a bad guy.
He really was.
Like,
yeah.
honestly, the whole what they were trying to pull off, like their whole
We're gonna kill all the blacks, browns, and what nows.
Yeah, they're like talking about cleansing their
Ethnic cleansing.
Their I'm like, holy shit, that's brutal.
There was one really great quote, which I was just like, this is a bad guy. It took God 7 days to create the world, and we'll cleanse it in just 3.
Yeah,
that is a fucking bad guy line. Like, I want to see this guy just get his.
Well, and that's they threw it all at you right there. So God complex, super mega Nazi, like you didn't actually need to see him again after that scene. Like, ultimate baddie.
And he was like super hands off. They didn't really have any scenes where he was like torturing anyone, or he was kind of just like the big brain behind the operation,
facilitating this awful thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stakes in this movie are huge, and it's set up very quickly.
Yes,
which I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll throw another success out there. This movie ripped. What I had compared it to arbitrarily, just because of this is what we do for the podcast, is Back from Hell, where they would just show up, a scene would happen, and then they'd leave. and then they'd show up to the next scene, and then the scene would happen, and they'd leave.
Yeah, it kind of had a case of this. Now this was happening.
But I was okay with that because it was. If you watch the trailer, that's kind of how it was pitched. They put these 3 superstars in the same movie. They each had like their own scenes, and then they had their awesome scenes together, and that was why we watched it.
I liked the music in this movie.
The music in this movie is fucking awesome.
Very funky.
It was very enjoyable.
It when it first hit in the beginning scenes, I was a little thrown off because it was like really wacky.
It was.
And like I didn't know if that was and probably one of the most intense parts of the movie. The music was really wacky, and I didn't know if maybe it became like a stereotype wacky.
Was that the beginning getaway scene where it sounded like they were breaking into a toy factory?
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
And that was a heavy scene because you kind of there's a guy who's in the shit for all these cleansing issues.
He's in the facility, like he's escaping.
Yeah.
There's some excellent like music video-ish type scenes. Like there was that one montage of Jim Kelly kind of like maneuvering his way through. I forget where he was, Washington, I think. But he was getting off. There's a lot of plane shots in this movie. He's getting off a plane. He's going through the city, trying to figure out where he's supposed to go. And it was all set to the theme song of the movie, which was 3 the Hard Way. And it felt very modern in a way that like movies from the 1970s don't usually feel. Like it almost felt like it was from 10 years in the future. Where they started, MTV really took off and started doing a lot of these sort of music-driven scenes. This movie felt like it was ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel like this is source material for a lot of people to reprise the mood of the 70s. Like they would go to this, realize then this is something that was the ideal circumstance for this genre, and then replicate it.
Yeah,
because I don't know, I felt familiar without having had seen it at all.
Right.
Which is comfortable.
So baffling that the first time we meet Monroe Feather, the first thing he says is, "I know what you're thinking. Light as a feather." Sorry, I don't know why.
You stating it off.
That's a
Jeff.
success.
I had to get that off my chest.
Oh, okay.
Just staring at my notes with a question mark in my head.
Okay. So
I have no other successes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what was your overall opinion? You've been quiet so far. So what did you actually think of this movie?
Thought it was kind of boring.
Really?
I could do without it.
That's it?
I'm done for this episode.
Okay.
Check you later. No, I'm just waiting to get to failures so I can tell you
fair
all
enough.
about it.
Tapping the watch like, all right, guys, wrap it up. Let's get to the failures part. I'm trying to think if I have any distinct. I don't know. I feel like this movie caused more like statements in my head, like, this then this. Okay. More than like identifying a success or a failure. Eric, what about you?
I thought some of the action scenes were really cool too.
I can definitely agree with that.
I mean, Jim Brown and Fred Williamson were both football players, right?
I think so, yeah.
So like they had a lot of physicality going into the role. And like everything just moves so fast in this movie in the action scenes. So I really appreciated that.
Oh, wait, who played Mr. Keyes?
That was Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly,
That
yeah.
guy was awesome.
He was also great.
I will count him as a success because
Really?
every time he was kicking ass, I believed it.
Oh, say, who was your favorite of the 3? So Jim Kelly was
Mr.
yours?
Keyes, yeah.
Mr. Keyes, who's yours?
I'd probably say Mr. Keyes as well.
Really?
I thought he was pretty sick. I'm not
He
gonna
was
lie.
wearing a tan leather head-to-toe suit.
I don't know.
Kicking the shit out of everyone.
Honestly, personal opinion, I thought he was the weakest one.
Really?
I thought so. I liked Fred Williamson's guy, Jagger. I don't know.
Was that the main guy or that was Jim?
No, that was Jim.
Yeah.
Who was Jim Brown? He was Jimmy.
Okay.
With the mustache. Well, actually, that doesn't really narrow it down. The guy who...
Everyone in this movie has
yeah,
a mustache.
exactly. Fred
It was the
Williamson
70s.
was smoking a cigar a lot. He was the one who was in the cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, he was... I liked him the best. And I thought... I was going to say something about Jim Kelly. I feel like... I mean, he puts a lot of effort into everything he does.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell he was really trying hard. But I feel like he really only tries hard at being Jim Kelly. Like, he tries really hard to come across as the way he's perceived. I don't know. It didn't seem...
I have no prior experience with him, so I have nothing
Yeah.
to base his personality on.
Oh,
That's
I know.
kind of what I was going to say, too, in that, like, I feel like if I had watched another movie, like, my impression of him in this movie was, oh, he's a pretty good actor for, a former football player. And then I feel like if I watched another movie with him, he'd be the exact same character.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't really have much of a... I can just tell from watching him act a certain way that I felt like he was putting on what he thought
He was putting on his
want to
acting
see.
face.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas everyone else just seemed cool.
Natural.
Yeah.
I mean, what I do appreciate is that every character had their moments in this movie. Mm-hmm. So no one was really left behind, even if you can rank them as your 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
They all have their own excellent action movie spots in this movie.
Absolutely. I can agree with that. Any other successes?
I think I am all set.
I think I'm good too.
One more quick thing. I think the fashion in this movie is fucking cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Of all the decades, I feel like when the 70s is done correctly, it is the best.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and after you said that, I totally agree.
Like everything's like so well formally fitted, and like everyone just looks smooth. I don't know.
Yeah,
something about it's just so cool.
There's a sharpness to it.
It's flowy.
Even casual 70s, like when people nail it, it's like, man, I wish I could. I wish I could do that.
Without being a try-hard.
Yeah, exactly. God forbid anyone's a try-hard.
Trying hard's for suckers.
Right.
And Jim Kelly. All right, let's do failure since Brittany's been itching to get here. Let's
do it.
Let's have you kick it off.
Well, the first thing is the like sequential weirdness of this movie. Just the way they moved from one thing to another. I feel like nothing got properly introduced or revealed or like established in any way. It was just like a series of things happening. Like they would never establish like, okay, we're going to go do this now. They would just be doing it.
I can't disagree with that.
I don't appreciate it. It made it very hard for me to care about what was happening.
I think they subtly just slipped it into their conversation. Like I think that's how every scene ended with a very quick conversation. Like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, it was very under the radar though, because I definitely felt the same way. And maybe it's just because we weren't paying close enough attention. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna write a movie, you shouldn't have 90% of the dialogue be like irrelevant, and then the other 10% be like, "Oh, hey, this is the actual plot now." I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of weak and vague in that way.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there were points in this movie where things were literally just happening. Like, I think the scene where they introduced Jim Kelly, like we got a proper introduction to the Fred Williamson character, Jagger. But I felt like the Jim Kelly character, like they just happened to show up and say, "Hey, how's it going, Mr. Keyes?"
Yeah, they were like, "This guy's getting framed for having drugs."
Yeah, I didn't really understand what their connection was to him, or if there was any connection to him at all, or if they were just like, "That guy looks like he would kick ass with us." Not really sure.
Let's show up on our sweet coats.
Oh my god, those coats were fucking amazing.
They were so big and they were matching.
I don't know why or where they came from because we didn't see them again after that.
No,
sure.
well,
they took them off.
I'll say he took it off. In fairness,
I know you guys really liked the bad guys. I thought they were kind of boring.
who the Yahtzees?
Yeah.
Yahtzees.
I was like, oh, your main motivation is just that you're racist. That's kind of one-dimensional and boring to me.
I think it was one-dimensional, but I don't think it had to be. I think it had to be more.
I mean,
than
I'm sure it
one.
was like it's Blaxploitation. I'm sure every like white person in this was just supposed to be evil and idiotic, but
Yep.
it was just like pretty weak for me. I actually wrote bad guys snooze.
Okay.
They're just like,
I like just the.
we're gonna kill all the Negroes.
I
Cut
like
to
the
next
menagerie
scene.
of yokels in this movie.
Oh, it's so
Yokel
weird.
Goon Game.
Oh God.
I was expecting a better Goon Game.
Goon Game wasn't as strong as I expected.
They were
Well, I feel
all
like-
boring Nazis.
Yeah, and I feel like that whole like weird vagueness comes back to me not attaching to any of the characters because you would get a small bit of time with a specific character and then they would get killed, and it was, even if the kill was awesome, it was almost like it was like uneventful, like everything was throwaway.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, even the final scene where they kill the Nazi, well, they kill fucking Monroe Feather at the end. They're just like, hey, your truck's blowing up now at a really long distance shot, and we don't even really know if that's the truck that he was in.
Yeah. Like, the movie ended, and we were like, wait a minute. Did they kill the bad guy?
We actually rewound it. We're like, wait, did they kill the guy?
Yeah, that
Turns out he was in like the second Jeep that blew up in one of the shots. Like we had to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
that
the establishing shot of him being in a Jeep was like 20 minutes prior.
Yeah.
in the dark. Like,
I mean,
is that even him? What?
I think this movie was very big picture. Like
Yeah.
it just floated at 10,000 feet over this story.
Yeah, it definitely had some issues with like really punctuating things that were important to us.
Yeah.
And it's not like the movie didn't have the capability of doing that because we had scenes with Jim Kelly kicking ass in slow motion. So you could think, you
His
kill
ass
off.
kicking was convincing to me.
Yes, that was very convincing. But like you said, they could have thrown in like an establishing shot of Monroe Feather being like, "Oh shit," and then like his car blows up, and then all that fun stuff.
Just get like 3 seconds, a 3-second shot to like help us feel like the movie closed out better, to feel accomplished.
Because they had like Jimmy's girlfriend, Wendy was that her name?
Yep.
And they're like, all right, you're our ticket out of here. And then they all run out, and then there's a man on fire, and then all of a sudden Wendy is with everyone else, and then they're escaping. And like nothing really happens to manufacture this event. It's just there.
I feel like in some ways, because I've complained so much about the 1970s style pacing that's so slow and laborious. I feel like this is almost the opposite of 70s pacing. And
breakneck.
That, like, it's breakneck, and they leave out like subtle important details. They didn't quite figure out how to like do this fast paced sort of storyline until later on and have it still make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just been editing around.
Well, I mean, there's also like a 150-minute cut of this movie or something like that, and this was only 90 minutes. Yeah. So I have a feeling a lot of stuff probably hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah, just to tighten it up.
Yeah, that's my guess. But I'd certainly be interested in seeing another edit of this movie to add some sense of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, to take out these weird omissions that make the movie harder to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this movie much more than Death Force. I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Definitely more than Death Force.
Definitely more than Death Force.
Part of me is just like, am I just racially underqualified to like review this film?
No.
You're looking at look at me.
Do you know what we watch movies and take them at face value here? We're not doing anything crazy.
Well, some people just look for deeper meaning.
I understand that.
Do you?
I do. That's not what I want to do, though. No. Not today.
Same.
If I had a degree in it, maybe I would.
Yeah, if I was Fallon and I was,
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Death Force is my only other, like, Blaxploitation experience. So I feel like I have very little criteria in which to judge this.
Well,
in the category that it's made for.
You could still form an opinion.
That's true.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And then when we need to form good opinions, we hire out.
Yeah, they can't afford microphones.
Yeah.
Outsource.
We outsource our good opinions.
Question.
Okay, we got questions.
Question?
So stupid.
All right.
Can we all just agree that if Monroe Feather was black, his name would be Feather Monroe?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was already thinking that.
Yeah. Monroe Feather is the most white name ever. So flip it around. What is it? Yeah.
Feather Monroe.
Perfect.
Fucking obviously.
Which, by the way, is also the coolest name ever.
Feather
Monroe is fucking awesome.
Is an amazing name.
Monroe Feather is the name of like a really shitty professor.
That's great. I guess not the question at all, really. But sure. All right. Are we going to move on?
I don't think I have any other failures, but that was the only failure I had down. The one that Brittany had just brought to attention.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bigger fail. Like that, in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty big failure.
Yeah. Kind of detail light. And then just the ending was not satisfying for how unscrupulous they were.
No, it was like slow motion explosion, and then everyone just like pranced down a set of stairs.
Well, yeah. It was dressed really nice, though.
Yeah. It's the most
that goes
important
without saying.
feature of this film.
All right, let's talk about some favorite parts then.
I have two favorite parts. One is a part, and one is something that Erik said.
All right, let's start with Erik's.
I can't wait to see some honkies get thrown out of a truck.
In fairness, those honkies got thrown out of a truck, and it was fucking great.
It was pretty great.
Did.
We were talking about the stuntman company, and I thought of my own stuntman company name.
Oh, what's your...
Disposable honkies.
I wish I knew about this game. Damn it.
All right, so what was your actual favorite part from the movie then?
When I forgot whose character we met, because that's how well they did in explaining it, but it was in the parking garage, so maybe it was
it was
might have been Fred
Jagger
Jagger, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And basically 2 cars just fly off the top of the parking garage and explode in midair for no reason.
Yep.
That was pretty awesome.
That was great.
Yeah, that was one of mine too.
And we were afforded a man on fire. Those were like my 2 top things.
Yep.
Yeah, I miss, and I feel like this goes along with audiences getting too cynical and making the joke about the cars lighting on fire for no reason. I miss cars lighting on fire for no reason.
Yeah.
Just like, midair,
midair.
no collision.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, in fairness, that was the decade that gave us the Pinto, I think. So, I mean, maybe that was an actual thing that happened back then, and now cars are just better and they don't light on fire for no fucking reason. But I miss that. That was fucking great.
Yeah, that's fun.
That really is, just to see a car explode. Why not?
Well, over the top.
Because you know what it reminds you as someone in the audience that you're watching a movie, like you're watching, like, because that doesn't happen.
No.
You know, like, it's one of those small things that go, oh, I'm enjoying this experience, this movie watching experience.
Right. I really liked the entire segment of Jim Kelly and his Taekwondo buddy in the treatment plant. I thought that whole thing was really cool. There were a lot of live firing blank guns like used within the choreography, like within the karate choreography, which I feel like is a thing that didn't happen until a lot later. Like a lot of things this movie did, I feel like didn't really come into vogue until decades later.
Yeah.
But like the idea that you would have like actual firing guns within some sort of close combat situation, like the choreography in that was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
To see it in something so old.
I bought that. I like that scene. They did a lot of good stuff.
Honestly, all the because each character got their own water treatment plant scene, which there's something about that I really liked. I don't know what it is, but I enjoyed all three of those scenes.
Yeah.
Just to see those characters excel in their own way.
Do their thing.
Yeah, which I'm sure maybe it was a logistical thing. It was like, okay, well, we can get Fred Williamson for, June 21st through the 28th, and we can get Jim Kelly for January 1990.
Nice. This movie also encompassed a lot of things for me that I will just immediately give accolades for right out of the gate. So one of those things being saying the name of the movie in it.
Yep.
Nailed it. Said it. Not on top of that, they had the theme song. Played it twice.
In which they say the name.
In which they say the name of the movie.
Several times.
A lot. Pretty much the whole chorus. And then
You're so easy to please.
I really am. So when I don't like your movie, that's a problem.
Means you fucking suck.
That's a problem. Brown. Okay. So I love the trailer guy for this movie. He fucking nailed it. And then also we have Man on Fire. Fucking so much fire.
So long. The most firingest man that ever lived.
Dude, that ever died on fire. Like,
He's still smoldering to this day.
and there was one more thing that this movie did that I really loved everything that it does, and I can't remember what it was, though.
Was it the three topless ladies inexplicably extracting information from some guy?
That...
It was almost awesome.
No, it was. It was definitely awesome, because I'm going to need to look up what they did on the internet later.
I don't think anybody knows.
The
guy had no visible marks on him. He was just cowering in his tighty whities like a little bitch.
Yep. And then they came out all sweaty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what we're talking about, so honestly, this is a favorite part, too. So these
It
so
was tits, so favorites.
So, all right. So the scene opens up. It's just like this, this shot of like the horizon on the street. It's like a telephoto lens shot. It's kind of shallow, so you can tell something's far away. We see three motorcyclists appear in a frame. One that's red, one that's white, and one that's blue.
And we're talking like the motorcycles and the helmets and the outfits all coordinated.
Everything.
Yeah.
Red, white, blue.
Which, on its own, that's a favorite part alone.
That's
sick.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was really hoping that was our three dudes.
It was just for Memorial Day.
How about that?
Also, for anyone that is familiar with classic arcade games, they look like the guys that you play in Narc. I don't know if you've ever played Narc before.
No.
It's where you're in the 1980s, and because Ronald Reagan's in office, you shoot drug dealers on the street.
That works.
I missed the
Sorry, I
Reagan
didn't mean to cut you
administration.
No, I'd play that game. And then these three bikers show up at Jagger's house where he has a prisoner that knows information about all the Yahtzees.
A Yahtzee informant.
A Yahtzee informant. He's gonna.
Okay, I have a small street. Just leave me alone.
And they show up and they're like badass and they're like ethnically diverse. There's one of each.
Okay, Tom, go on.
There's a white woman, an Asian woman, and a black woman.
Thank you.
Princess, countess, and
Empress.
duchess.
Empress.
Yep.
Duchess. Yeah.
Ah, so close.
Almost. Almost made it there. And then they're like pretty badass, right? So they're like, the guys upstairs, do what you got to do, save some of them for us. So these people have a reputation of going a little too far, God knows. On the way upstairs, one of them asks what's in one of their bags, and she basically tells them to go suck an egg. And then
she's like, "You don't even want to know."
Yeah. And then they're up there for a while. They hear some.
They're up there for like 5 minutes.
They hear some screams, and then the three women come out. Or no, they go in there and they're topless, and then they come out and they're all sweaty and topless, and he's a sweaty mess too. And I'm like, what happened? I need to know what happened. They never told us what happened. I'm gonna need to look up what happened.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I feel like in a modern movie, we've got more hints as to what happened, or we would have just straight up seen it.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had gotten the Scarface treatment where we were actively seeing what was happening but not actually being shown it, that would have been really, like, if they showed the implements that they were using and then cut away.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been the best way to handle it, because those characters were, in all honesty, fucking cool as shit.
Maybe they just couldn't think of something that would make it believable enough, so they were like vague.
Let's just
vague.
Let's let the audience use their imagination.
Maybe that's one of the things that also hit the floor. They're like, you know what? They don't need to know that.
Yeah.
You know what? There's probably a lot of stuff that was like, you know what? They don't need to know it to enjoy it. And guess what? They were right on all those decisions. I also have one more favorite part.
Go for it.
When we find out what Jimmy's job is, he's some sort of studio executive, like a producer of albums, music. That scene where he was recording this band who had an awesome song, who were killing it.
What was their name? Was it the Immersions? Does that sound
Impressions?
The Impressions. That's it. Yeah.
And the sweaters that they were all wearing in the studio,
sweater game strong,
wicked strong. And then that's basically why I like the scene. But then I like it because
just because of the sweaters.
The sweaters are like 90% of why I liked it, but I also liked it because Jimmy was like a jerk. He's like, "Man, you guys got to like actually sing better." And they're like, "We tried." And the guy's like, "Relax, man. You're over the top." And he's like, "You know what? You're right. I am over the top.
I'm just having a bad day."
Yeah, we're having a great time, right, guys? Yay! And then they wrote the song for the movie, so then that happened. And those are my favorite parts.
I do have one more favorite part I just reminded of.
Oh, good.
While they're letting the Countess, the Empress, and the Princess do their thing, Jim Kelly and Fred Williamson are smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, and playing chess.
Yes.
Which is basically something me and Tom did about a month ago on a Friday night where we had nothing else to do. And I can understand the appeal. It's a good time.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Any other statements, questions?
So who's the guy who escaped the compound that had all the information?
House.
When House is in the hospital and the Yahtzees send two guys to go kill him.
Yeah.
And they like come through the hospital window on like...
They were the Canadian construction workers from
Shadow Warriors.
Like a cable guy.
Wait, is that what Cable Guy was about? That's dark. No wonder people didn't like it.
I don't know. I just thought that was ridiculous. I guess it's not a favorite.
Not a favorite part? All right.
I take it back.
All right. Just something you wanted to say then?
It was good for establishing what we were about to see for the next 90 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So is it time to rate? So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
I'm going to have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck yeah! All right, guys. Let's rate 3 the Hard Way, 1974. Let's do it. Let's rate it. Eric,
Okay.
you picked it. You rate it.
I think I'm going to give this a straight fuck yes.
Okay.
It was certainly very enjoyable. There were a couple of things that held it back. I felt like a re-edit to really make this thing a little more streamlined, like for it to not be so herky-jerky, would push it over to a fuck yeah. Like the core, like what the core competencies of this movie, which were the action scenes and honestly like an overall style, were on point.
Style, action, and characters.
And I feel like everything is there for them to make a perfect movie out of, like something that I would want to watch all the time. As it is, I might say, hey, you know what we haven't watched in a while? 3 the Hard Way. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
That said, I definitely would watch this again. Like, I feel like this would be a really fun one to put in the background, and then you can be like, oh man, I remember this part. This is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But it could definitely, it has all the pieces to make just something amazing. And it's certainly really awesome in its own right. And I just wish it was slightly better. I would love to see a remastering of this, and maybe there is one out there. Unfortunately, we had to watch this on YouTube because that's the only thing that we had access to, so the quality wasn't great. But I would love to see just like the best that this movie can be, because I bet it's freaking great.
Yeah, you know, I'll agree. I'll give it a fuck yes as well, for the same reason, because I think this movie is awesome, and I think it could be better.
Yeah.
But I don't want to not give it the credit that it deserves, being, like a 90. I'll give it a fuck yes. I had a great time watching it, and I'd recommend it for sure. I'm like, not like I would I probably wouldn't recommend Death Force. But I also like
Death Force is another one that I feel like I just wanted to see that one succeed, and that one unfortunately did not try as hard.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But there's also I don't know a lot about this genre of movie, so we've watched 2 now that have multiple cuts. True. So like I'm not sure if there's like a post-production thing where they're just trying to get this movie in front of people where they're making all these different cuts, and then one of them just kind of floats to the top.
Right.
Like I want to know what makes these movies different, like from cut to cut.
Yeah, that's interesting that it seems that these 2 have that in common at the very least.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a common thread through this whole genre of movie. But yeah, fuck yes from me. Brittany, what do you give it?
I'm torn
between
a fuck off and a fucking fine.
Okay.
Because I thought it was kind of boring. I would probably not watch it again. I'm sure there's people out there who would benefit from being recommended to watch this, but I don't think I know any of them. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure this movie does anything for me.
Would you agree that people that are really into Tarantino movies should watch this? Because that's the vibe I got the whole way through.
I feel like there's definitely a couple of notes of that. But I think that's a genre thing and an era thing.
Maybe not people that are into Tarantino as much as the people who shit on Tarantino for saying he just rips off movies that didn't get as much attention as his movies did.
That's a good point. They would probably absolutely love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am glad I watched this because, I mean, as much as we've just, railed on Death Force, I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. This I really liked, and I want to know what other movies in this genre that I actually do like.
Right.
I would definitely be curious to discover more.
I'll give it a fucking fine.
All right, fucking fine.
It did have some stuff that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But overall, it just wasn't really for me.
It was, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
It's lighthearted.
All those Yahtzees.
Crazy Yahtzees.
Crazy. All right. So we've all rated it. Did all right. Did pretty good. Pretty good.
Bad.
Not too bad, Erik.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any final thoughts, questions, statements before we end it?
I believe Brittany has a statement.
One more statement from the lady.
Yahtzee!
All right, it's over.
Oh, one last favorite part. The guy driving into a billboard as he shoots through the roof of his car.
That's right.
Which gave us the biggest explosion known to mankind.
We had to rewind it like 5 times. We were like, what does that billboard say? Something about tucking your elbows?
Yeah. Well, actually, if I can add to that part, too, they ran Jimmy down in a phone booth, which he died.
Oh,
as far as
that
I'm
guy is
concerned.
dead.
All of a sudden, he's just hanging on the back of this garbage truck. And they're like, yeah, man, that ruled. They were wicked
Let's
pumped.
talk about our secret plans later.
Hey, where's the secret hideout?
And what time is it at?
It's at 8 p.m. That's where we meet everyone. Let me get the map out and show you.
255 West Street.
And then it's pretty sweet because the guy with the map gets thrown out of the dump truck and the map goes flying too. And I liked that detail. I did like that.
That was
one.
preceded by Erik saying, I can't wait to see some honkies get thrown out of trucks.
And then that happened, and then they ran through the billboard. It was ideal.
There's also on YouTube. There's a supercut of all the kills in this movie. I feel like if you don't have the time to invest in this, watch that because it's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah,
definitely.
That was fun. That's it, guys. We watched 3 the hard way.
3 the hard way.
The hard way.
3
Brown.
boiled hard.
Brown.
And brown.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got more than 90s trailer voice going.
Yeah,
you
you-
hit that 70s note.
Yeah, I did the long trailer guy. Yeah. So if you'd like more information on our show, you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. If you'd like to listen to our program, you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, secondclasscinema.com, and followingfilms.com on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Just say hey. I'll say hi.
Say hey.
Just say hey. That's my Dave Matthews Band song.
Oof.
Oof.
Is that not good?
Oof.
Hey.
Oof.
Next week it'll just be Eric and I.
Brown.
Brown out.
Brown. Williamson. Kelly. Brown.
I like that you have, when you do brown, you recoil it.
Brown.